You might think a nursing home is a safe place when everything else feels like it's falling apart, but I'm here to tell you that assumption can be a catastrophic mistake. Nobody wants to say it out loud, but too many seniors discover too late that not every nursing home is a nurturing sanctuary. Some are understaffed, overworked, and more concerned with profits than with you or your loved one. Listen up, because I'm about to lay out 7 brutal truths about nursing home neglect that almost nobody dares to talk about. If you have any intention of keeping your health, your dignity, and your sanity in that place, you need this information right now. This isn't going to be pretty, and it will hit close to home, but you deserve the truth. Because let's be real, your comfort shouldn't be an afterthought, and I'd rather deliver a harsh wake-up call than watch you get blindsided by hidden neglect. So grab your attention, because the details I'm about to share may be the difference between living your final years in torment or living them with a little bit of peace. Comment: nursing nightmare if you or someone you know has been through this. Here's the first shocking reality. Staff shortages are absolutely rampant. That means on any given day, the overburdened staff can't possibly tend to everyone's needs. Sure, they might put on a good show when family visits, but behind closed doors, you might wait ages for help to use the bathroom, get a glass of water, or simply have your bed adjusted. Over time, this isn't just inconvenience, it's a serious health threat. Pressure sores? That can happen when nobody comes to reposition you. Dehydration, malnutrition, infections? They all skyrocket when staff is stretched beyond capacity. The solution here is to keep tabs on staff-to-patient ratios before you or a loved one ever sets foot in that facility. You'll want to ask for documented records, not just a vague promise. And if you see signs the staff is constantly scrambling or ignoring bell calls, don't chalk it up to a rough day. Demand improvements immediately or consider taking your business elsewhere. This is your life on the line, and a bunch of overworked employees can't protect it for you. The second unspoken horror of nursing homes: over-medication. Sometimes these places rely on heavy sedatives to keep residents docile. After all, a sedated senior is much easier to handle, right? It's disgusting, but it happens. Instead of working to engage seniors or manage specialized conditions properly, some administrators quietly push staff or in-house doctors to ramp up the meds so there's fewer problematic residents. You might see your friend, spouse, or parent suddenly more confused, sleeping all day, or losing all personality. Don't you dare assume it's just the natural progression of aging. Often, it's the direct result of lazy care disguised as medical necessity. You have every right to question every medication prescribed. Ask why it's needed, what alternatives there are, and demand a second opinion if something feels off. You're not being a pest. You're protecting yourself or your loved one from being chemically restrained into a zombie-like state. The third ugly truth is something I call invisible harassment. Bullying doesn't end in the schoolyard. Some staff members, and even other residents, can psychologically manipulate or ridicule seniors. This kind of neglect is slippery because it leaves no bruises. You might hear some caretaker mock your wobbly steps or laugh when you need help changing clothes. Maybe they casually shame you for making a mess, whispering humiliating comments just loud enough for you to hear. It's not the typical physical abuse you imagine, but it leaves mental scars that can be just as damaging, if not worse. The solution here is to observe interactions carefully. If your gut says something is off, trust it. Sometimes you have to install cameras or keep a rotating schedule of visitors to make sure eyes are always on how staff interacts with the resident. If you suspect harassment, bring it up immediately with management, demand an investigation, and if they try to sweep it under the rug, escalate it to local authorities or state agencies that oversee elder care. Silence is the worst enemy in these situations. Number 4, medical neglect is rampant in too many facilities. Does the staff notice new symptoms quickly or fail to address them? Is there immediate follow-up for issues like a sudden fever, a fall, or persistent pain? Or is none of that a priority? Sadly, in some nursing homes, by the time they call the doctor, your condition may have deteriorated beyond repair. I've seen it happen again and again. A small infection that should have been caught early turns life-threatening because staff didn't bother until it was too late. The fix? Make sure there's a clear medical plan for each resident. You want to see evidence of regular checkups, swift action on any changes in health, and open communication with you or your family about every intervention. Don't accept "we'll watch it" as an answer. And if your facility doesn't have consistent doctor visits, or they treat your concerns like an inconvenience, that's a big neon sign telling you to get out. Fifth on this ugly list is administrative corruption. Sometimes it's about profit over people. Facilities might cut corners on supplies, skimp on nutritious meals, or hire the cheapest staff they can find, all to pad the bottom line. You might get served stale food, or your call button might stay broken for days because the ownership doesn't think it's worth spending the money to fix. That's not just a little inconvenience, that's a dangerous cost-cutting measure. What if you fall or have trouble breathing and can't call for help? Or what if your meals are so low in quality you can't get the nutrients you need to fight off infections? Always remember you can request financial transparency or at least an explanation for big changes in the quality of care. Check facility reviews, speak to other residents or families, and if you notice a sudden downward slide in staff, supplies, or daily living conditions, chase it down. Don't wait for them to fix it themselves, because they usually won't until it becomes a public scandal. Sixth, inconsistent safety measures. A decent nursing home should have protocols for fall prevention, medication management, and emergency readiness. Yet too many places treat these measures as optional guidelines rather than mandatory. Maybe they don't have enough bed alarms, or they skip routine safety checks when short-staffed. Some might let infection control slide, so a virus or bacterial outbreak runs wild through the building. Or they do a half-hearted job of labeling medications, risking mix-ups that can lead to catastrophic health consequences. You deserve to know exactly what protocols are in place. Are there fall prevention grips in bathrooms and hallways, and are they actually being used? Are staff members thoroughly washing hands or wearing gloves? Are medication carts locked up properly or just left in the hall where anyone could tamper with them? Ask these tough questions. If you catch them off guard and they hesitate to show you safety procedures, that's a red flag that they might not have any real system. And if you spot blatant hazards, call them out in the moment. Don't let them wave you off with any "we'll see to it soon" nonsense. And finally, the seventh neglected reality: emotional isolation. Nursing homes can be lonely fortresses, especially if the staff doesn't bother to engage with residents beyond the bare minimum tasks. Picture being stuck in a room day in, day out with no stimulation, no real conversation, and no attempt to get you involved in activities. Your day is basically eat, sleep, watch the clock tick, repeat. That's not living. That's waiting to die. Research has shown that loneliness can actually speed up both mental and physical decline, leading to depression, chronic health issues, and an overall lower quality of life. The solution? If you're a resident or you have a loved one in a facility, insist on social programs and ask to see a schedule of events. If there's nothing more than a TV in the corner and a standing bingo game once a month, that's not enough. Demand more. Encourage visits from family or friends, schedule phone or video calls if people live far away, and push staff to provide meaningful activities that actually promote mental stimulation. Yes, it's their job to keep you physically safe, but it should also be their job to keep you mentally and emotionally engaged. Are these truths terrifying? Of course they are, but knowledge is power, and I'd rather shock you into awareness than let you be lulled into a false sense of security. So if you've picked up even one tip from these 7 brutal realities, do something about it. Don't quietly endure or assume it's just how things are supposed to be. Get vocal and demand the care you deserve. Don't be shy about moving to a new facility if the current one won't step up. Sometimes the only language these places understand is the threat of losing your money and your presence. Meanwhile, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to this channel, and share your experiences in the comments. Come up with a quick phrase like non-nursing nightmare if you know exactly what I'm talking about. Together, we can expose the secrets that administrators would rather keep hidden. Let's make sure nobody spends their final years rotting away in a place that's supposed to protect them. And remember, seniors have more power than you think when we band together. Stay vigilant, stay loud, and never forget that you have every right to demand better treatment. That's the brutally honest truth they don't want you to know. Now go out there, shake off the complacency, and fight for the dignity and care you deserve.